Oh, man.
Okay. Yo.
I'm going to start off
Wait.
with this
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
You know, we have to do it.
But don't forget. Pretty excited about this episode. Talking about the last one. Yeah. Check, mic check. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Discipline Debbie podcast. I'm your host, EL Discipline, alongside me is Suhey Sotomayor. Man, excited about this show, but we have to get, ABC. So, y'all know y'all back because y'all fiends, and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy where not everything is completely free. As we're on Patreon for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see, all the links are in the description. What is free here is judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great. And that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, and my favorite roll of blunt, but make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vocal conversation. Prepare your mind to be fed light. One up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in to the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We're here.
All right. And like he said, there are links. First of all, we want to give a big old shout out to Joe at Center Stage Music Studio. This is the place to go. You need something done, he's there. He gets the rooms ready for you. If you're in a band, then you need to rehearse. Or if you're going to do a podcast like us, or if you're a singer, he got it all. He got the space. He's amazing. So that's Joe at Center Stage Music Studio in Belmore, Long Island. Now, like Mr. Discipline said, there are links in the description below on how to become part of our Patreon family and subscribe for exclusive content, bloopers, behind the scenes, Mr. E.L. Discipline solo lectures of discipline therapy talk, his BDSM content, erotica posts, and writings by Mr. Discipline. We upload his masterclass and workshops, the full videos on there. We have some collaboration shows pertaining to more sensitive topics like sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence, transgender, children abductions, conspiracy theories, government conspiracy theories, and much more with myself and Mr. Discipline. Once again, how to become part of our Patreon family, you go to patreon.com/The Discipline Therapy Podcast. That's it. Then we have Mr. E.L. Discipline has 7 published books. They're all available for purchase. We have them on Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. We have them for electronic versions as well, Kindle, Nook, all that good stuff. And for our merch on our online store, you're going to go to disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. I have one of our shirts on. But since it's so cold, it's all covered. Boom. Okay. And we have what? I scared myself. Water bottles. Stop it. Books, you name it. We got it all. Different categories.
It should be up more.
Why? I can hear you. No, you don't like it like this? Look,
All right.
I'm not even forward. And that's about it.
Yeah, you increased your volume.
No, that's not about it. Last but not least, if you can't catch us on our YouTube channel, you can get us wherever you get your audio entertainment. We are on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and much, much more. See, he tried to play mind games with me so that I forget where I'm at. But I've been taking my vitamin. So
she's blaming that on me.
Meanwhile, it was me. I scared myself by knocking my microphone off.
Yeah, so I'm wearing a shirt from the store as well, but this was in the section of the
BDSM.
discipline workshop.
And your hat
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so it has BDSM and then you see BD and then the
SM. So it's
SM with the heels. Yeah,
nice.
cool. So yeah, BDSM content are strictly for Patreon. But this topic is probably gonna hang this here and see if it works.
Nice.
But this topic is it's not BDSM even though you hear certain terms. They're gonna be aligned with that. I mean, without further ado, people that watch the social media, follow us, probably already know the topics. People who don't are just subscribed on YouTube are anticipating. So before we get into a couple of things, why I brought this about, I'm gonna read the masterclass workshop survey. Yeah. Oh no.
I'm gonna put it over here. Okay.
All right. So yes. All right. So sometimes like during the week, I've been once a week, every other week, I'm reading the surveys. So thank you for attending the workshop. We enjoyed your time, and could you please complete the following survey? How would you rate today's workshop? Please circle 1. So we've already said that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Very satisfied, satisfied, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. So this is a very satisfied. How likely is it that you would recommend this workshop to a friend or colleague? Please circle your response. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did 5. What other topics would you like to see discussed in future workshops? This person said signs of improper power dynamics. When
Ooh.
is it dangerous?
That's a good one.
How did you hear about us? Instagram and YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, website, or other. They said Instagram and YouTube. And it says, please provide us with additional feedback or comments that you would like to share. Love the catering. The toys were really cool, and I really liked the whip demonstration. They're not talking about us, Sue. They're talking about me. I was demonstrating that whip. I was
Yeah.
working that shit.
He sure
You know what I'm
was.
saying? Florentine flogging, like, it's all about the wrist.
I was in the back just in case he wanted a
Duh, you wasn't in the back.
I was like, you're not hitting me with that.
You was in with the crowd.
Yeah,
Stop
in the
lying.
back. In the back with the crowd.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking
see?
like I'm in
Oh,
the front.
No, I'm
Like
way
you're like
back.
behind me.
I'm behind the crowd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this inspired me for this topic. They said signs of improper power dynamics. When is it dangerous? So this topic is drum roll. I might make those
Do it.
special effects. So this is actually anniversary. This summer will be 5 years. June 18th, 2020.
Of what?
The podcast.
What? 5 years? That's crazy.
The first episode, part 1, was should wives be more submissive to their husbands or women to their boyfriends? So this is the same thing. Episode 182. Should wives be more submissive to their husbands, women to their man, or girlfriends to boyfriends? So yeah, so we're gonna get into it.
All right.
We're gonna talk about the improper power dynamics. When can it be dangerous? Should women do it? Shouldn't they be? If they do it, what's the benefit? If they don't, what isn't? What's gonna be the result? You know, whether it be positive, negative.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So, should women be more submissive to their husbands, and wives more submissive to husbands, and girlfriends to their boyfriend? Well, I think starting off, the word submission is often thought in a negative connotation. People associated with living in fear, cowering in the corner, or being afraid to speak their mind or have an opinion. And I don't know how it got to that. You know what I mean? How it got to be such a trigger and to be thought of in such a negative way. But if you look at, because I know you like the biblical Bibles and biblical stuff and all that, in Peter 3, verse 1 through 6, is that the one? Well, that's what I'm reading right now.
Mm.
Wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which doesn't mean a pushover spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. For this is the way the holy women of the past who put their hope in God used to adorn themselves. They submitted themselves to their own husbands like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord. You are her daughters if you do what is right and do not give way to fear. So submission doesn't mean agreeing with everything your husband thinks, right? It's more, I feel like, you're showing him his due respect. You chose him to be your husband. And if you're not going to allow him, if you're not going to let him lead the family, then why did you choose him? That you're kind of contradicting your own, I mean, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Your own ways. And submission doesn't mean not using your brain. You need to use it to help you act accordingly. You're not just going to blindly submit to someone. I know we've had this conversation in previous shows. I will submit to my man. I will submit to, the person I chose to be my partner. It doesn't mean that I'm going to submit to every male, to every man that I meet. I will be respectful to every man that I meet. Get respect, you have to give respect. So I give respect and I expect respect in return. You know what I mean? But I won't submit just to anybody, because that to me is something sacred. That is something special. Much like how discipline, he says when he's with a woman, or rather, if he sees a woman that he's interested, he'll go on her Instagram or whatever and see if she's showing skin. That's supposed to be something, intimate and special. For me, that is what submission is. It is something special, and not everybody gets it. Do I think that women should submit to their husbands? I do. And I especially think, especially if it's not a marriage of convenience, where it's, I can't afford to live on my own, so let me marry him, and then no, because you're not putting that relationship isn't being based on love and respect and commitment. If you have love and respect and commitment, then submission should be on that list. And I think the same thing goes with, boyfriend and girlfriend, or the equivalent of that, because I know you don't like those terms, boyfriend and girlfriend, but whoever you choose to be your man or your mate.
Doesn't matter if I don't like it.
Well, I'm just saying, that's another thing. Like,
Trying to make me understand.
if you are choosing that person, first and foremost, make sure that you have vetted that person. Is that person worth your submission? You have to be smart when it comes to these things. If you see submission for what it is, you're not just going to blindly give it away. And if you see submission for what it is, you'll know that that is something, special to give. So girlfriends to boyfriends, yeah, because if you're in that relationship, that means you're working towards marriage. And if you're going to work towards marriage and that's the person again that you are choosing to spend the rest of your life with, then yes.
Um. So, yeah, just like years ago when I said we should talk about this because I felt like something something triggered me. I remember before we made the podcast, I we used to have a lot of conversations off camera, and I said, "Man, it would be great bringing on a woman perspective. I don't just talk about this. It would be great woman perspective, male perspective." And one of the things I asked you was, "Why are relationships just so hard today? Like, why are they failing?" And you had your perspective, and I said, "You know what I think? I think the women just don't stay in their place. I think they're just not submissive." And you were like flabbergasted, and I was like, "I think we should talk about that." And that was what the first
Started off.
topic came out to be. And it was like so many people tuned in. It was an uproar. It was like
It sure was an uproar.
feminists were out. Men were kind of like, what, whoa, what is this? This is kind of aggressive. Like, we kind of thought it, but damn, somebody's actually saying it.
Mm.
And this is what I think. I think, like, when I stated it like that, it was kind of me forcing the women to take accountability indirectly. And, women, like, most women hate that. So I think that, I think they should, if they, like, for example, like, I'm surprised you went to the Bible.
I'm surprised too.
surprised you went to the Bible.
But it was a
So
really good thing.
so many different reasons. If you're religious and you follow that, yeah. The other verse is Ephesians 5:22, and they could go back to that episode. I used that verse as well. Ephesians 5:22, it says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as you do to the Lord." Um So if you follow the Bible, if you're religious, it should be a no-brainer for you. I think women that do, they're gonna feel like it's a sin unless they're engulfed in modern and have modern friends, and then that influences them as well, where their husband is not enforcing that in the house. That's one. If you see a future, like you said, yes, because you're practicing that where it's gonna be second nature. If you date for a purpose, if not, don't be. But don't complain when you don't get what you want. You know, but if you desire like provision and protection, yeah. So I think that you said a lot of things that I wrote down.
Hmm.
So the reason, first thing you said, and I was actively listening, first thing you said, you don't know why that the term submission is like a negative connotation. It arises negative triggers, right? Maybe anger, resentment, stuff of that nature, oppression. And I wrote down the representation of it. Now, submission is a turn off for a lot of people, especially women, but I don't think submissive is. I think when most women hear submissive, they jump to sexual because most of them already are.
Mm.
So submission is a turn off. It seems like all these connotations you thought said arise, but the irony is dominance is it and discipline. When women hear those terms, it triggers arousal, even if they want to fight it. You know how many times I used to walk out? Now I don't say this out in public. I say my real name. I used to say I'm disciplined, and I would get this constantly. Oh, so you're gonna discipline me? You see what it is? Like those terms just trigger arousal in those female psyche. You know, So I think that's a reason, the representation of it. Probably what they've already did in the past, now publicly, so many platforms putting out that term, women specifically are like, oh, there was a term to it. That's what I was doing. Yeah, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that again. Look what the fuck that got me. That got me abused. That got me not realizing that they didn't have the right partner. And most likely, I said this in one of the shows prior, when you're young, you don't know what love is. You're still practicing. So even he doesn't know. He could have been in a house full of duress. Probably saw the father beat the mom. Trauma from the hood, saw crime, murder, whatever, has uncontrolled aggression. Doesn't have self-discipline and control. And then, the woman is stating, oh, I was a ride or die figure there, but he abused that in every fashion that is subjective in whatever it was. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever. Right? Pimped me out, whatever it was, he did. So if the woman views the man as a boyfriend, no, they shouldn't. If they see him as future and more than that, they do. Remember, episode 15, Mindset, season 2. I stated that when I get in my relationships, it's like a marriage. So I train potential wives. And even if it's not for me, it's for somebody else. So I don't fuck you up for the next guy. I make you better. And so thank you. You're welcome. So, like, I teach a lot of them things that they never did, but I help them get back into their nature. So, when I get with women back in the days, that was my point when I said it in episode 15. It used to be, yeah, I can't come out to the club today. Guys, we did that 2 weeks in a row. It's time to spend time with wifey. Operative word, wifey. Or she would be like, that's hubby. So we saw ourselves as that regard to live that. So when she was cooking and cleaning, some people were living together without the titles. So if you see him like hubby, you call him a prominent name. All that baby, boo, what else do they call him? What else submissive nicknames they give him? Like honey, sweetie. What if you see him like Shookums, whatever? If you see him like that, candy drop, you are not submissive there. Clearly, even the smallest thing, how you address him. When you're calling him Poppy, when you're calling him Daddy, or other prominent names, my king, you do. And you are submissive there, even with word choice. So, spirits in flesh, remember that? Words are also powerful. What you put out is not what you be. So when you say, I'm a technical beast. When you say baby, that's why he act like a baby. He act like a child in a grown man's body. So boo, whatever you say, versus daddy, my emperor, my king, or whatever, and he acts like that. Women don't call men daddy, king, my emperor, and whatever, if they don't see that. They just don't do it. Even if the guy said, oh, this is how I like to be addressed, or they don't do that. If they're struggling to call you that, they keep fucking up. Oh, baby, it slipped out. I'm sorry. It's because they don't see that, which is in direct correlation with a lack of respect. So I think that they should be more submissive to their husbands or to their boyfriends because there's benefits for that. It goes back to the nature of the woman, of her staying in there and he's staying in there. Now, most likely, the woman needs to have real good discernment skills, because this goes back down to, like, you can't submit to everybody because that's just foolish and dangerous. So the woman has to, I would say, take her time and use certain tools to constitute unlocking the portal or giving him the key to my door. That's what I think. So whatever that is, and it happens sometimes quicker for some women. Sometimes it takes 8 dates for some women. Sometimes it just takes 1 date for some women. But they need to use proper discernment. What is more important for you to submit, if that's something of importance? Most women don't find this of importance unless it's, I'm struggling with decision making here, or bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm more vulnerable. And don't worry, Instagram don't know this about me. I'm the rah-rah independent. I'm strong. I eat metaphorically dudes for breakfast. They don't need to know I submit there. They'll never see that. Because that's probably only that dude that is there will see that. So most of women don't see it. They don't see it exists at all. You know what I'm saying? Until like people like myself or other people come in and break it down in technical aspects and dissect it and then start making them think. Then they start to, that makes sense. I didn't look at it that way. You know, so I think that if, for example, a woman knows that if I'm submissive, I'm going to operate at my best because she knows herself, then she's going to go out there navigating into the dating market with proper discernment skills to relinquish that, because she knows that she doesn't do well trying to be the man there. It's too tiring. I really don't want to. So when she allows the guy that, because it's like process of elimination too for the woman. She's getting more attention or numbers thrown at her or whatever it is than an average guy. So she's like using discernment skills even there, whether it's DMs, in person, whatever. And then she's comparing. Now, if she knows herself and she knows that she operates at her optimal level when she is submissive, she looks for the prerequisite. That's why I say it's subjective. Like sometimes it might be the first day, sometimes it might take 8 dates. So let's say that regardless if it's the first date or 8 dates, right? Both of these women, different types of women, have the same common denominator, which is safety and protection. So the first date, I don't want to have to tell him shit. I want to see if he's going to do it on his own. Does he hold the door? Does he offer to pick me up? Does he like offer to pay on the first date? Will he walk on the side of the traffic? Will he hold my hand? Subtle things.
Will he walk me to my door?
Walk me to my car at the end if we both came in separate cars. Subtle things that I don't need to state, well, when I date a guy, when I do this, she's going to see his mannerisms. She's going to see how he speaks. Because confident, dominant men are not going to ask, well, what type of guys do you like? Well, what type of guys do you date? They're not. She's intelligent spiritually. We got an episode like that coming up. So with her spiritual intelligence, that comes with discernment, and she uses her powers of femininity, which is intuition. That intuition, she navigates there and starts to absorb these things that she's receptive to. Because women are more socially receptive than men. You know, that's why they're able to follow directions better and do all this and, you know, whatever, right? So in that regard, you know, she's going to absorb what you're telling her. And then she's going to watch. So now the second prerequisite could be, well, does he have principles himself? Does he respect himself? Is he a man of his word? He told me, because most guys don't do this, but let's say this guy, she observed does this. He told me to be ready at 7 o'clock. Did he show up at 7:45 with no notice, no call, no, I'm running late, it's traffic? Did he show up at 6:55? Did he show up at 7 on the dot? All of these things, if this woman is a serious woman, operative word, If she's a serious woman and values serious relationships and wants something meaningful, then she's going to study these things meticulously.
Mm-hmm.
But if she just wants fun or whatever, it's flying over her head.
She wants a different submission.
Yes, it's flying over her head. She'd be the type to give it up on the first night. So, it comes down to the woman indeed. Submission is not for stupid women. Like, smart women submit, because look at everything that I stated. You can't have a woman who's on drugs, who loves to party all the time, who's always giving it up on the first night, who dress like chooses bozos. Come on. We can't say submission is intact with her. We gotta put respect on this name. We gotta put respect on this name. Like dominance, that can't be carried by every dude.
That's true.
We got to put respect on this name of submission and submissive. So this is an old school virtue that we either value or we don't. The woman that is that for real even values that within herself. That's why she chooses right. You see, I always said, even in that first episode, they could go back. Women choose. I never stopped saying that.
That's true.
Dudes might approach and stuff of that nature, but she gotta say yes, keep dating me, it's okay, blah, 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 blah. She's choosing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I might dominate, but she gotta choose me.
Yeah.
I'm seeking, I'm out there hunting, but she gotta choose me. You know what I'm saying? She gotta choose me.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, it's like, if she knows her value, and she doesn't have to know these terms that I'm saying subconsciously. Listen, I don't do this. I don't know what type of girls you date, but I don't do this on the first night. Then she knows her value.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like there's certain things she and it don't have to be aggressive, but she knows her worth, because when I'm in a relationship, I give my all. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I know that can't be given to anybody, because if it's in the hands of the wrong person, I'm at risk.
Yeah.
People will take advantage of that. She's aware of that. That's why I say she's smart, spiritually intelligent. All this, she could be book smart, look at all these degrees, but she's spiritually dumb. She's spiritually dumb, or we'll say ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not stupid, but ignorant, because she's unaware. She's not woken. Her third eye ain't open. So I think that the woman who values this old school merit and prestige and title, then she navigates out there correctly, because she respects it.
Mm-hmm.
She carries that with her, but she respects it.
I think that's why, like, modern women don't respect it, and it triggers them. I think it's because they see it exactly as that. That's something that women had to do back in the days. We don't have to do that now. That doesn't count for us. We can work. We can support ourselves. But it's almost like they're seeing it. You always say it. Like short distance.
Oh, myopic.
Myopic.
Yeah.
I'm like, monocle? No, that's the one eyeglass. Yeah, myopically. You know what I mean? Like, it's something in the past, but it worked. Like, I think all that changed. And I'm not, because we've had this conversation off air also, with the feminists from back in the day. I agree with those. I don't agree with modern feminists, because the women from back in the days were trying to better themselves. But I think that modern women think, why should we do that? Times have changed. We're progressing, but in your relationship, sometimes you have to keep it pretty basic. And I looked up, is it a bad thing? Is being submissive a bad thing? And no, Being submissive is not inherently a bad thing as long as it is practiced in a healthy and consensual way within a relationship. However, excessive submissiveness, have you heard of that? Excessive submissiveness?
No.
It says excessive submissiveness can be problematic because that it leads to a lack of personal agency and inability to express needs, or put you in a harmful situation.
Yes. And you go to what the participant was saying,
Mm-hmm.
signs of improper power dynamics when it is dangerous. That's dangerous. That is, in layman's terms for everybody, a people pleaser for
Yep.
everybody.
Yeah.
People pleaser. She don't just please her man. She please, like, oh, dudes like girls that post their body. Okay, let me do that. She's pleasing them too. She's pleasing the boss. She's getting him coffee. Things that are not in her job description, she'll do. She's like, all that leads to stress because the woman is in a bubble of, damn, if I don't please everybody,
It's out of fear now.
they're gonna, yes, I was just about to say that. They're all gonna be angry at me. They're not gonna like me. They're like, I'm scared. Like I'm doing a bad job.
Right.
That's her validation. That's dangerous.
Right.
It also shows. Go ahead.
It could manifest as a lack of self-esteem, difficulty making
I was just
decisions.
about to say that because I was gonna say
Fear
that
of
it was coming from
conflicts.
the one of the shows, episode 180, when I said the man and the woman, the validation, the low self-esteem. That's what I was gonna say. So one of the last shows I was saying, to get into this one, submission is strength. So that woman is not really submissive.
Yeah.
Because remember, that to be that is prestige. Like, I'll reiterate why I was saying that you got to show respect on that name. If you respect it, you don't give it not just freely, but you don't spread it thin. It's special. So in that regard, when you're submissive to everybody, the woman, she puts herself at risk.
And it's not special anymore.
It's not special.
Exactly. You need a power balance because it's crucial to ensure that submission is not used to manipulate or control someone. Either way. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be submissive to a man that's going to manipulate or control you, and you don't want to manipulate and control a man with your submission.
Yeah.
It doesn't, those are not, it's not a power balance.
And we need to make that perfectly clear, because I think that when they hear these terms like dominant submission, they're like, oh, controlling or whatever. This is what it is.
Not.
This is what it is. Like, they need to turn the volume up because I'm not going to raise my voice. Women need to get with men who have control. That's in direct correlation with discipline. It's synonymous with that. Discipline is control. They need to get with a man who has control. Control of his life, control of circumstances, and that is going to lead to also control of the relationship. Reality is you can't really control unless they're like animals, maybe children, really, really dependent upon you. But it's very rare you're going to meet people in this world that are not self-sufficient in some regard. Maybe not independent, but they're going to be self-sufficient in some regard. The man trying to control the woman is not going to work. So controlling the situation, the temperament of the relationship, okay, let me give you an example, because some people could be like, well, what if he's like how she dresses? Because a lot of these guys that just stay that, they're not going to articulate it like I am. So I'm going to help them out. I've always said this, and I've even said it in the first book, The Seduction of Discipline, which is in direct embodiment of this topic. The submissive is the representation of the dominant. So when you guys are together, even if it's poly, it's one man, two women, or three women, or it's monogamous, one man, one woman, they are, or she is, the representation of him. They don't need to know him. She shows you what type of man she belongs to, because she represents the relationship. I use the analogy of chess.
Mm-hmm.
She moves in ways the king can't. Even though he's the most prominent piece, she's the most powerful. So she's stating the relationship. So if the woman goes out there dressing like a slut, or people want to say provocative, she's showing you what the relationship is. And most people are not going to respect the relationship. Fuck the man. Fuck the man, because she could get with another dude and she's doing that. They're not going to respect the relationship. So I'm going to give you an example. If I meet her in public and I'm like, hey, I'm feeling you, let me get your number. Oh, I got a man. What that got to do with me? What that got to do with me?
There was a song back in the days. What your man got to do with me?
Like, what that got to do with me? Like, fuck him. She's showing you, he's like seeing it indirectly, as men are visual creatures. You sure you got a man? Because our ancestors, we knew, like, women covered up. Like, they were ladies. Like, I'm trying to be next. You know what I'm saying? He's saying that, he's thinking that, he's not saying that directly. He's not being straight up. So I think that in regards to the dressing situation, if the man would approach like that, we are as one in representing this, both of us going to adhere to gender roles. It's not just you to adhere it and I don't. Then it's a situation of making her understand that you represent the relationship as I'm representing the relationship. Like the type of guy I am, I show you what type of women I date. You don't need to see them around. People probably, oh, they're probably well behaved. They're probably well dressed. They would be shocked if they ever saw me in public with a woman that was wild, crazy at the mouth, not well dressed, and stuff of that nature. Because of how I am, how I talk, I'm a serious guy.
Right. Makes sense.
So it's like we're holding ourselves accountable in this regard. And when we get together, how we are operating out into the world too. So I think that, you know, they don't fathom it because, like you were saying, it's not the standard today.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's not the standard. And a lot more women and men are not really enforcing that. Like, I'm not getting shamed for not being. And guys that I date don't hold me accountable to this. So if it was every guy you dated stated this and you don't want to go lesbian, you're going to adjust to it.
Yeah. I think that both partners should feel comfortable and empowered within that relationship with the submission.
Or even society. Even society. They should, but they don't know how to. I feel like they don't know how to embody that or feel empowered by it. I think it needs to be taught. This is the education here. This goes back to the first episode, season 1. This goes back to what I stated here. I'm going to reiterate here.
Okay.
Choose. Another word, choice. Women choose, I have a BDSM mindset. Submissive chooses. That's her choice. So when feminists are shaming women and all that, part of that is choice too. That's empowering.
Yeah.
So now when we look at a woman who wants to be submissive, that's her choice. That's the empowerment. So if women don't get this education, they won't think choosing to be submissive, choosing to be a housewife, choosing to cater to my man is my choice. They're not looking at it like that. They're not looking at it as empowerment. If they're not being taught that. If they're being taught that that is oppression, girl, what are you doing? We have rights now. Are you stupid? Like, are you dumb too? Are you stupid and dumb? What are you doing there? All you're going to do is set yourself up to be abused and fail. You know how guys are. You know how these guys are. Like, they'll say these guys. You know how these guys are, girl. You know what I'm saying? No, we girl code. Like, we got to stick together. We gotta look out for. If you do that, that's gonna give them opportunity to run all over you. The thing is this, it goes back to the segment of this episode. Proper choice.
Mhm.
Proper choice leads to great happiness and paradise.
That's
So
true.
if you're getting that rhetoric and you're getting that education, and now you navigate out there into the dating market, even if that is a great potential candidate, your girl's in your ear. Your family members are in your ear.
Mhm.
So now you, no matter what he's doing, you are, pushing that type of gimmick and propaganda
Yep.
out into that. You are feeding into the feminism. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing it is a scam. So there is no connection. So
Mhm.
there is no power of men and women coming together. So you're now like falling into the trap. You know what I'm saying? Because what they're saying seems more valid to you. And it's a combination because the men are not enforcing it. They're not coming together as a cohesive unit. They're simping. They're settling.
This kind of also ties in with our last show where we said like when something that you would tell the future generations, and we said know yourself. So if you know yourself and you know that that's part of who you are, is you're a submissive woman to the man that you're with. It doesn't matter what your friends say. You know yourself. They could call you a doormat and all that, but you don't even react. You're like, okay, but I'm in a happy relationship.
Most likely what's going to occur is you're going to sever ties with them.
Especially if they keep on
Yeah.
with it. If they don't,
Because
if
your
you don't
life-
put your boundaries and snip it in the bud, that's probably what's gonna happen. They're gonna keep on, and if you don't, like I said, do it, you're just not gonna want to hang out with
Yeah,
people who talk crap about how you are in your relationship.
Yeah, because women are just naturally like collaborative. Like they're all about like the bunch thing. They're not really independent. They're all about like the bunch thing. Like if you really see a woman who don't really have female friends, only male friends, she's heavy in her masculine, just to educate you. But most feminine women have other like female friends. Like they like that. That's what helps me getting something out of you. Like when you're busy with your boys, you're out football or whatever. Like if I could do something with my girls, so I'm not so up your ass so much and bothering you. Like maybe you don't like that. So women kind of need that camaraderie within them, within their certain group. You know what I'm saying? So they could like, oh well, I feel like a woman. Because I'm around other women. So by nature, they're naturally gonna just like follow that. So what they're saying to come about with their group, if they realize that they don't have a lot of shit in common, especially in the relationship aspect, it gives them some type of anxiety because they want that acceptance. They like that togetherness. That's part of their identity. It makes them feel good. It's a self-esteem thing.
Yeah, they like talking about the relationship.
Yeah. So if they're realizing that, like, damn, like she's the only one out of the group who's not a feminist. Like I'm just in my brain. They don't probably know of the term feminist, but like just rock with me on this one. Damn, she's the only one in the group that's not a feminist. Shit, this shit don't feel right because how come she's getting what we indirectly or subconsciously crave for? And we're the ones having one night stands. We're the ones being abused. We're the ones that don't have a man. That are saying it's the weak ones out there. I'm not gonna take accountability. I need a strong man close to me. Like the last show. So in regards to that, it's like we gotta make you feel bad about it. Indirectly, misery loves company. We get her out of that so she could be our girl again. We don't like this one. we don't identify with it. So that's why I'm saying like it's in her best interest for that one that's out of the bunch to break away and probably find women who are like her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
like-minded.
Like-minded. It's not gonna work in that regard. Same thing with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the submissive aspect is very sensitive because it also puts most women in the frame of I have to step up, which goes back again to the accountability thing, which most women's kryptonite is that. Like they really don't like it.
Mm.
So I think that if men don't like it, which I doubt, it's just some of them are not vocal. If men don't like women to be this to them, it's because
What,
they have a
submissive?
fear. Yeah, they have a fear of stepping up themselves. Damn, I don't want to have to step up.
She's
That
gonna
means
expect
I'm
more
gonna.
from me.
I gotta get with a partner.
Mm.
50-50. I gotta get with a woman who, cause when I can't figure it out, like she gotta be that boss. I can't do that because I'm lazy. I don't want to. No, I can't. So it puts them in a frame. So sometimes they shame the guys that push that out too.
Yeah,
It's
that's
all
true.
like a manipulative thing for both parties don't step up.
Yeah.
Because the submission forces the feminists to step up. And the submission forces the guys to step up.
Mm-hmm.
So the men who are comfortable with it, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's rock, let's get it. The guys who are not hungry and dominant and don't have intensity, the shit died, they're complacent. They're like the feminine. They're in their feminine frame highly. Their masculine is suppressed only to be revived during their certain hobbies. Like they're real masculine in the video game. They're real masculine with the basketball coach. They're real masculine on the court, football, on the field, wrestling, whatever, soccer, whatever it is. But in their entirety, society, with their team, with their family members, with the relationship, they can't be. Even in the household, they allow the woman to discipline and they would rather not because they want to avoid conflict like the woman. So they now even put her in a stressful situation to do. And if she's comfortable doing that, I mean, he already got with a headstrong woman, like a dominant woman already. So she's like doing that already. So, it's like it affects it in the entirety when they don't want to be, but should they be for their man? Yes, because there are a lot of benefits to being that way for their man and their husband. If the woman is religious, she knows of the spiritual hierarchy. God over man, man over woman, woman over children. So the woman only submits to the man that submits to God first. So she sees that and then she follows him because she knows by doing that, she's respecting God. If she don't submit, she knows that she's not respecting God and she don't trust God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because she's looking at the man as her God. Daddy, emperor, my king. This goes back full circle. The whole baby reference and addressing is not God. Baby, boo, sweetheart, honey, candy drop. All these submissive names. All these submissive names are not they're not God to her. She might even call him my God, my savior. You saved my life. Yeah. So I think that it comes down to the woman's mindset. And if she trains her mindset herself or a man comes in and trains her mindset, she moves differently because that's what it all comes about. Like how you think becomes an emotion and that emotion becomes like a vibration. And that vibration is like a magnet of you attracting things to you or what you exude out into so the whole, strong, independent, that does not get you a strong, independent guy. Because due to polarity, you're attracting the opposite because the universe is seeing you as a woman and confused that you're talking like that. If the man was talking like that, it would make sense because this is ancestry. The universe never changed. That's what I gotta educate them on now. They're taking over right now. They're taking over. That's what I gotta educate them on right now. It don't speak English, it speaks vibrations. And vibrations and energy is never stagnant. It keeps moving. So the universe is old school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's seeing you as a woman. It don't give a fuck about your degree. It don't give a fuck about your money or status. It's seeing you as a man. It don't care that you simping.
Yeah.
So now you might like simp because you're like, oh, settling or whatever. I gotta do this, change within the times. I don't want to. And then you're getting the aggressive chick, that you really don't want. But it's seeing that you're a man, but you are pushing out what is counterintuitive to your nature. So due to polarity, I'm giving you this because I'm still giving you opposite. Obviously, I'm not giving you another man. You're heterosexual. So I'm giving you the opposite due to what I'm reading. But the polarity that's also intact with the universe, it's like, oh, you pushing out feminine energy. So I'm getting you a masculine chick.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? And the only way, this is only the exception, the only way the masculine chick is attracted to the masculine man is if she is subconsciously trying to get out of that. Maybe she didn't tell him, but in her mind, maybe to her girls, she says, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of doing everything myself.
Yeah.
I wish that I could have a man to do. And then she starts to find that because, like I said, the vibrations of now she's putting out there, words are powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm strong, independent, Oh, she's a woman. Okay, I'm going to give her the opposite. I'm going to give her a man. But the whole strong, independent thing, that got me confused. Oh, okay, I got the right pick for her. The beta guy, he's right there. Yeah. They're going to meet. They're going to meet in the supermarket. They're going to connect. That's what it is.
I also think that, because if you, and I'm talking to the women, like I said in previous shows, especially when you're trying to learn yourself and better yourself and elevate, someone who is submissive is also someone who is willing to learn, and whether that's either through direct instruction or through the support and nurturing of their peers or their, in this circumstance, because we're talking about relationships, their husbands or their man. You should, like I said in the show before this, put that pride aside. Put that ego aside and see it for what that can be. Submissive. It's you're willing to learn to better yourself, to better your relationship, to maybe tweak some stuff. We have one mouth and two ears for a reason. Is for you to listen and take notes to see how you can uplift your life, make your life easier by just listening.
That makes a valid point, and I've said this in past shows, but I didn't think about it today, which is great that you said it. She's coachable, which is the summary. She's coachable.
Yeah, she's willing to learn.
Willing to learn. Oh, I know it all. I'm a quick learner. I've done this already. She's a no. That's not right.
There's a saying.
She's what?
Go ahead.
She's willing to learn. And how you do that is by being humble. So the submissive is humble. And when she embodies that humbleness, it's going to be easy when she does something. Not all the time. Maybe once in a while, she gets out of her place and you hold her accountable. She takes that with grace because she's humble. She's embodying her femininity, which is in direct correlation with submission as well. And she takes that with grace. Probably this type of context comes out of her mouth or sentence, I will be better. I'm sorry, I will be better. So I think that that's a good point you made. Yeah. 100%.
I think anybody who is, willing to learn, like, you don't want to be, and this is it's not a saying, but I've read it. You don't want to be that person who reads one book and says, I know everything now, on one topic. You want to be that person who reads that one book and says, I got to keep reading different books because I need to know different things.
Mhm.
You want to be that person. And so open yourself up and be willing to learn. If you're in a relationship, you have to learn your partner. You have to learn what they like, what they don't like, things like that, just like they need to learn you.
Mhm.
If you're not willing to learn, what your partner's love language is, you're just it's never going to work because you're just working for your own pleasure instead of getting to know them and vice versa. And
Oh.
I think my ancestors are inside me too. Pause. That sounded crazy. That sounded
You
crazy.
were saying something vital. Learn your partner. So in BDSM, we have this process called negotiation. It's a negotiation process. And in that process, you're getting to know each other in any type of fashion, whether it's conversations over the phone, dates, whatever, right? And you're getting to know each other. During that negotiation process, most likely it's like this. Now, this is how it is in BDSM dynamics. Conventional relationships, it could be like equal, but in BDSM, it's like you both are equal participants to uh put out your
Nice catch.
to put out your boundaries and certain negotiations of hard limits and soft limits. But at the end of the day, the dominant is leading it because remember, there's dominant and submissive there, leader, follower.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I'm not gonna get really, really in depth with it. I'll do a Patreon episode where I'll talk in depth. In that is the learning of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I have a list of things that will make me present here, my boundaries and stuff like that. I send her the list and she's like, oh, I don't mind this. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Now, one of the things I will say is, do you have any things you want to negotiate or like things that are off limit, hard limits that, because soft limits are like things you don't mind, but hard limits that are not on the list, like my list. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that relationships, they could call it like, it's kind of maybe synonymous like compromise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's healthy in that regard, but it's knowing yourself too. So you imagine getting into a relationship with a woman and like I teach young men this, like ask the right questions. I teach
Mm-hmm.
women this when they go, ask the right questions. So let's say you go on a first date and you don't even know what boundaries are. You don't state boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You're at risk for a lot of things to occur, for her to do things and then you possibly blow up because there was no discussion from it before.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know that's how she was. Or he does things and you don't know. Yeah,
didn't learn each other.
yeah, now that we're in a relationship, I really don't like you dressing like that and going to the club. You never said this in the beginning. Like we were just having fun. Like we're a
Mhm.
month in and now you saying you don't like this? Like what? Like I always dress cleavage, even I always had the cleavage on, even with you. Now it's a problem. You see, so I think that it's very important that we do this. And I think what comes with that is being emotionally available and present.
Mhm.
So I think that people that are not emotionally available and not present, they don't know to put these things on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any final thoughts?
My final thoughts on whether wives should be submissive to their husbands and girlfriends to their boyfriends. Like I stated earlier, yes, if that is the person that you're choosing to be your partner, your mate, your whatever, start your family with, yes. But also keep in mind, being submissive doesn't mean that you don't have your own voice. It doesn't mean that you don't have your own opinions. Um, and if you are with a man that is giving you that safe space to, you know, be able to voice your opinions and your concerns and what you think, even though it might oppose his, but he's still giving you that space, then he is deserving of your submission. Now, if you get with a man who you say, well, I don't think, blah, blah, and as soon as you say the words, I don't think, and he shuts you down, no, you don't think. There's no thinking over here. I think. I think for the both of us. You have to, if you're still willing to submit to that type of a man, then maybe
you're okay with that.
Yeah. Maybe you have other things going on.
Yeah. So I like that. I'm going to piggyback off that and say that every relationship is different. Like that one you mentioned. So I think that oftentimes women and maybe a lot of men too, remember when we said submission's not universal? That's what I mean. We don't say is it universal with genders. We could say that. Do every woman submit the same? Is it worldwide? Blah, blah, blah. But it's not. It's different forms. So I think that what happened nowadays in this era is women think it's like one way. It's I get with you, you tell me to shut up, and I gotta shut up, and I don't do nothing, and you do it depends on their dynamic. That's why I say they have a negotiation process. I think that the healthy relationship establishes the relationship. You come to a relationship establishment. You don't just okay, I'm gonna pick her. These are these boundaries and stuff, and boom, and let's go. You're my girl now. We didn't even go on a first date. I don't know you from a can of paint. People have to realize that if you get married, you don't have to live it like the reverends do it. I think that's the problem. I think people are looking at it as, well, if I'm submissive, I gotta be this way. It depends on the man you're choosing. Yeah, my rules are non-negotiable, but my negotiation is obviously negotiable. You know what I'm saying? And the part of that list could be, well, I pick out your clothes. No, I'm going to grow adult women. Okay, let's wipe it off. And then I have a inside the bedroom list. I'm not going to talk about that on here. But, outside, probably Patreon, outside of it, you know what I'm saying? Where we have these things, like a rule that's non-negotiable is, you're my lady. You can't post provocative photos. You can't post yourself in a bikini. I can only see that. You're not cool with that? No problem. I'm not forcing you to be here. I'm gone. Don't try chasing me now. The only way you can chase me and that's going to be okay and I'm going to accept is if you're going to be willing to abide by the rule, because I told you they're non-negotiable. I don't like women that smoke cigarettes. Weed is good. It's from the earth. Cool. I don't like women that do all these psychedelic drugs and all that stuff. Weed is the only thing. Because I don't think that's a drug. So, these are non-negotiables. Oh, well, no, I got to have my cigarette. Okay, well, good luck with your future endeavors. Bye. You understand? It's nobody gets forced anything. So, it's it depends on the man that you're with. Most of these women that I've given these rules, they've looked at it and was like, damn, this is not harsh. I was raised I was raised in a strict household. These are easy.
Yeah.
Most of the women that have bad habits, feminists, have a problem with them. You know what I'm saying? Really? You don't like this? Really? They got a problem with it, but they really want that man.
I wonder if they've ever
indecisive.
Tried it. Yeah.
So I think it depends on the partner you choose. I think that's why you got to take your time.
100%.
You got to see their mannerisms. You got to see what it is. You got to see if that guy's willing to put things on the table in the beginning. And I think that if he's willing to put things on the table in the beginning, then I think it's real healthy, because he's telling you indirectly that he cares. He wants to invest. And he's telling you also indirectly that the ball is in your court. Are you going to shoot it in the hoop, or are you just going to pass it back to me and run? You want to win? You get it in. And maybe you don't get it in, it bounces on the rim, but I'm going to dunk it in. Teamwork. We both winning. So do you want to do that? or not. So he's giving you the choice because he's aware women choose.
Yeah.
You know, we have to just get more educated on it. I think that if sometimes people like put dominance and submission, they're gonna see these images, these graphic images. They're gonna see like things like 50 Shades of Grey, and they're gonna think that that's what it is. They're gonna see from their other friends telling them, "Oh yeah, girl, I was like that." Don't ever do that for a man.
But
Because
again,
this is what's gonna happen. Now she projects, so now she's
Right.
afraid because she's like, "Well, damn, you know, she's older than me and she's telling me this," or like we've been close friends for 20 years. Maybe it's right. Like my mom is the single mom, independent, is saying men ain't shit. Don't do it, girl. Da da da. Find a man that's gonna give you everything. Go out there and be a gold digger. Boom, boom, boom. So it's like, you get government assistance like me. Don't do that. You could have a kid, but don't care about marriage and whatever, and just keep going with that generational curse. So, like, all this type of education is being instilled for the young woman, older woman, whatever. And same thing from the guy, because I don't exclude them. They could be telling them too, the betas. Oh no, girl, you and me now. That nigga was controlling. You and me now. Yo, you boring if you don't post your body online. I want to see that shit. I want all them niggas to see what I got. Do it. Do it. He's pimping her out. Maybe he don't even know. Maybe she don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, everybody know who she is and everything. Bitch ain't got no mask on, nothing. Everybody know who she is. And her location, everything. Putting her at risk in every fashion.
Yeah, that's terrible.
You know, so even the guy is educating her. And it's crazy because the woman, even though they're about girl code and whatever, they're more inclined to listening to the guys more because they want to please them, especially if they're heterosexual.
And that's
so if they're check this out, Sue. If there's 100 dudes telling you to fight submission, but there's 5 telling you to not, these are the benefits. The 100 dudes are what most of these chicks are not attracted to, but the 5 are. But they're like, wait a minute, process of elimination. Like the alliance is strength in numbers. There's 100.
They must be right.
So they must be right.
There's more of them.
There's more of them saying the same thing.
But you know what? In the song with Fabulous, I'd rather 5 lions than 100 sheep.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to finish my thought on my final thought. What is it? Final thoughts?
Yeah.
So what would make a woman want to submit to her man? The woman who submits to her husband is putting trust in him to make the best decision for the family, providing and protecting the best interest of the woman or the family. It doesn't mean that your opinion doesn't matter. It means, this is the important part, it means if there is a tough call to make, you are giving him the benefit of the doubt.
That's on Google?
Yeah.
Yo, Google,
Stepped it up today.
look up something that says WebMD.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes I go on there too. Like Google, I don't really, like I always get different type of references, or Reddit.
I'm just going to say this as from somebody in the medical field, don't look up things on WebMD or any of those, because you're just going to drive yourself crazy. But yes, WebMD. Did you want me to look something up specifically?
You probably do it later or whatever. Within our final thoughts.
Okay.
You know, studio time, we pay for that too. So my final thoughts, but keep that in mind, because all I want people to know and you is Google's not the only outlet.
No, yeah, definitely not.
You know, go to libraries and stuff.
Yes.
Follow your ancestry tree and stuff of that nature. Where you come from. Do a DNA test. You know, ancestral DNA test and stuff.
Well, women can't do it.
Oh.
But you guys can.
Yeah.
Men can. I'm gonna get my son to do it.
Most men, we go back to ancestry. Men haven't changed. Most women have. And I say most women because I don't say all. I've met different women. So I never generalize. So men, and even if they left, they come back. Men haven't changed. They always run back to tradition due to survival, instincts, whatever, relationships, marriage, stuff of that nature. So the reason why I would say for them to do it is because most men, this is the point I'm getting to. I know I talk a lot, but I get to an end goal. Most men love this. So because most men love this, they don't just like it. They love this. The woman is inclined to doing it, to having not just a healthy relationship because she's going to be happy there. And there's a lot of things that unlock when the woman is happy. When she's submissive, because most men want it. And the biggest factor is our nature. So because of our nature, men control relationship and commitment. Women do not. So that's why I say it's important, where this topic tonight, we're talking about relationship aspect specifically, because men control that. Women could say all day, but you could Google, you could go out and test it out. At the end of the day, you got a feminist in a city near you that wants traditional treatment. Where is that going to come from? She ain't getting that. She going to want that.
Yep,
that's an old school thing. So that's going to come from a man. Indirectly, she's saying, I want a man to take charge, control of the circumstance. So that means he controls the relationship, the temperament there. He's going to be on one day. He's going to go get the ring. She ain't going to do all that. When she's indecisive about getting things to eat, God damn, I run a Fortune 500 company. I could do all this, but not what to wear. Can you pick her out? Would you like me in this? I got female clients that come to the store that would ask that. They don't come with their husbands. They don't come with their man. Would you get your girl this? How do I look in this? Why? Because the man's opinion is valuable. Even indirectly, she's saying it by her actions, her verbiage. So the reality is, women care more about the validation, the acceptance from the opposite sex. They're put on to game of realizing men love this. This is the cheat code. I'm giving y'all the cheat code on how to embody it, to be in that humbleness, to get everything you want. You got to make a sacrifice. Like you were saying, the ego and the pride. That's the sacrifice to winning.
Yep. In everything.
To winning.
In everything.
You know, so you got to get along to get along. You know, so in that regard, it's like stating, and maybe even he doesn't put it in the beginning because he doesn't know himself. But if the woman is watching this podcast or whatever, or educating herself, she could go into that relationship and state certain boundaries. Like I had a woman that, like, I knew, but we never did anything. We never met. We never had sex or anything like that. We talked, and we were working on that. Like, she was working to be a sub.
Oh.
But it never got there. I used to, once it was over, like, you don't belong to me anymore. So I would call her miss. I would call her lady. I would call her, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And she, I have something I want to ask. I'm like, what? Some boundary. I was like, what's the boundary? I hate it when you call me miss or lady. I feel like we known each other for so long. You could call me my name or give me a nickname. I'm like, I can't give you a nickname. You're not my sub anymore. That comes with prestige and like a privilege. So I'm like, I'll just call you your government name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving that as example from a real life experience of maybe the woman could go in there and state the boundary in a respectful manner. Maybe he's not, because he don't know himself, or he don't know what's offending you. He's not going to know what's offending you until you state it, but do it in a respectful manner. The best way for the woman to navigate well in the relationship is to be submissive. You can't navigate around it. Women think they want to take shortcuts. No. Let me reiterate. Most women want to take shortcuts. They live in a fairy tale world. You're not going to get the man like me by doing that. No, you can't take the shortcut. It's straight to the finish line.
Straight to the fire.
It's straight to the finish line. No bumping the cars to hit the wall. No cheating. It's straight to the finish line, doing the right thing to get there. And that is putting all your bad habits aside, being humble, be willing to learn and coachable, and pick a guy that's comfortable leading with conviction who's healthy because you studied those mannerisms so you can embody your femininity there and be happy and be in a successful relationship. That's the only way. Now, if you get with the guy who doesn't state boundaries, oh, well, you know what? I really have a problem with how you dress and stuff like that, and does all that, it's not going to be successful. Maybe he won't leave, but she's cheating on him. And that can be defined for some people as not success.
That's true.
Longevity and her loyalty can be successful for some people. The fact that niggas ain't never seen her naked. You see her face and stuff like that. Maybe she only posts memes all the time on her page, but they never see her because that's a privilege to see her. You know what I'm saying? And that's successful. You don't need to see the man. If she got a relationship with him, goddamn, that's a man of value. That's a man of value. Gotta be. Because women could do what they want today. So if that's intact, goddamn, that's incredulous. Like, it's almost unfathomable. So when you actually see that, you're like, whoa, this is successful? You're amazed, you're in awe.
Yeah.
So there's no shortcuts. The woman will get in a relationship, but she won't get the man she wants. She's gonna get the weak guy. And she thinks that she's gonna get the shit she wants because she's able to retain all her bad habits and still dress how she wants. Still get drunk, still act crazy and aggressive when she's drunk. Maybe when she's not drunk, she's cool. So that's just bringing out what's already hidden. She just knows how to hide that. So she's still able to do that. She's still being disrespectful at the mouth. She goes out in public and still does that. Nobody checks her in any fashion, especially the man closest to her. She ain't with her dad no more. The man closest to her that's supposed to be taking that prestigious job, like the baton, running with the baton for the marathon, is not doing that. And she thinks she's with a good dude. Well, she's not aware. She's not in her divinity. I think that the key is the woman working on herself first, then navigating into that market and then choosing, because the woman chooses. So you could have 100 guys that approach you. She's using process of elimination.
Yeah.
Because the woman is always looking at, where am I going to be the best here? Like, where am I going to benefit the most?
Yeah.
Even if she's not verbalizing that, she's calculating. Where am I going to be the benefit? Where am I going to benefit the most? And if she's toxic, she's going to choose the safe guy, the beta, the weak dude, because she's going to think benefit is trips all the time.
Gifts.
I can even go on girls' trips. And if I want to cheat on him out there because we had an argument and I didn't agree with him, I can. I still got that. I could still go to the club. I could still dress how I want. I could still talk crazy. I could still post things online how I want. I could still go against what it is because I could still keep this like pseudo alpha. You know what I'm saying? I could still keep this. So I'm with a good guy. You know, so she's not on to game. But once she gets put on to game, she gonna realize that she's with a loser. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to notice it because she's going to start to see that she's going to be attracted to dudes that's not like him. Because it's in the woman's nature to stick by and be loyal to where she's complacent and not starving, because it's not in the woman's nature to have an insatiable hunger. So when the man is fulfilling everything, she don't see eyes for nobody else. Even if you shirt off and all that, oh, my man better than you in her mind. She don't need to verbalize that. He better than you. And you looking for me to dominate you? No, he dominate me. I don't never need to say I fucked him. Technically, I got fucked. Pause. You know what I'm saying? I don't never need to do that. My man take care of his shit.
He handles business.
So I think that the woman needs to embody that first and then get with a guy who doesn't disturb that. Remember when I said that a guy is at peace with himself and then he finds a woman that
sustains it?
is like at peace
Mhm.
or doesn't disturb that, it's not like, well, I find her because she's peaceful. No, I'm already at peace. I know myself. So when she brings that, when she comes here, she doesn't disturb that. It's the same thing.
Mhm.
She's on her healing journey and the guy don't disturb that. He's not reinforcing those traumas of like, abuse back in the days, or even like maybe that abuse could also be in forms of, because we don't talk about this, the beta male, the passive dude. The abuse is putting her through stress. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, the abuse is putting her in pressure situations. That was abuse. Psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. So now I get with the guy that does the same thing. That's reinforcing my past trauma that I'm working on. Like I'm working on relinquishing control because my last relationship, I led there and it was just bad. It was abusive. It put me in a frame of stress, all this. I didn't like it. So now I want to get with a man who is comfortable leading so I can sit back because I want to embody my femininity. That is going to be healing for her because she's already trying to do that on her own.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Find a dude that's comfortable with that. And then now is yin and yang. You connect. Complementary opposites. Gender roles is intact. It's not sensitive and triggering in a negative connotation when that word is present. Like, yeah, she likes female gender roles. Yeah, he likes male gender roles. And we do that 100, not 50-50.
Mhm. This also ties back to the last show. If a woman who now wants to be in her feminine energy, surround yourself with women who are already like that.
Yeah. I think nowadays too many people, like women I hear especially, are looking for like partnership, but they don't know what that entails.
They just
Like
know
that
it's
could be
50-50.
subjective. Yeah, it just means 50-50. It means, support me in what I'm gonna do and do it. No, like partnership is like on a path to failure. You know what I'm saying? I think that women should go into it like, I want to look for my king because I'm a queen. Not I want to look for my king because I'm a king too. Sometimes I could turn my king up. That's like laughable. That's ridiculous. Let me find my queen because I'm a queen too. No, I want to look for my king because I'm comfortable being that lieutenant. You know what I'm saying? That queen. I don't want to be the general. I don't want to be the general. I'm still a boss too, but he's the CEO.
Let me find
Let me
perfect
find my
counterpart.
CEO.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I could still be the manager. I could still be the vice president.
Yeah.
I could still be the CFO. We're not on the same level, but we both are prominent and have powerful roles.
And you have the same vision.
That's paramount. That's paramount.
Me and this microphone today.
So I think that it's important that we know ourselves and we know ancestry and test it out. I always say that this is my new shit, my new spill. Test it out. Don't listen to what I say. Test it out. Now, if you look at your chronicles and you're like, well, I was submissive here and it's not going to happen or whatever. Now, that's true, but you also got to put into the type of guys. But were they healthy? Now, that's the third thing. Because healthy is boundaries. Healthy is stating things from the beginning. It's me telling you that I'm territorial and possessive. It's not me lying to you and retaining it, and then my actions are doing it. He's acting territorial and possessive, but he never said he was that. Or when I asked him if he was that in the beginning, he said, no, those are for those guys that are controlling. I'm not like that. Girl, I'm not like that. You see, it's the little things that matter, the man of your word, principles. That's what matters. So I think the woman is spiritually intelligent. She looks at these values, these core values, the man, the G code, what we call them back in the day. The G code he has for himself. And then she obtains to that. And I bet you, if she looks at you as a leader, she gonna follow that. Oh, yo, he's a man of his word. Yo, I'm crazy if I'm not a woman of mine.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I got to match his energy. He's a bozo out here. Yeah, that's why I post my body. Because I do bozo shit too. He's a serious man. I gotta act like a lady. I cannot be goofy. That's gonna make me look weird and not be cool to be in this relationship. It's gonna make me uncomfortable being in this relationship if he's serious most of the time and I'm goofy. So I think that it comes down to, you know, what you are comfortable with. Test it out. Trial and error. If you were dominant in your relationship, maybe you should try something different. Let the ego aside. Test it out. Go on a date with the guy and see if he's going to do things without you having to ask him. See if he's going to offer. And that's how you're going to know. Because if he does, that is his true nature. Versus you telling him, yeah, this is the first date. I dated guys that did this and I dated guys that did. You don't think the clown is absorbing all that? And thinking, oh, let me put my acting crown, not crown, because the crown is for kings.
Mask?
Let me put my acting mask on. Let me put my acting mask on. I'm a wolf, but let me put my sheep clothing so she could see I'm cool. I'm laid back. I'm passive, so she could submit here and give me the draws, because that's what I want the most. I think real men enter their dynamics of looking at, yeah, I want the draws too, but you coming in here, I need to know if it's beneficial for me as well. I know what I'm going to provide you, but I need to know if it's beneficial for me as well. How are you going to contribute to my legacy?
Yeah.
Like, what else are you going to do here? What else can you do? What else can you do? You just looking good? You got a mind? Because it's attractive when you could think for yourself and you're submissive here. Because some people think that these women can't think for themselves.
Yeah.
These guys got them blackmailing them or holding them in the chain, or they don't got a lot. They don't got money. They don't got their own.
So the healthy.
So
women, the healthy submissive.
Yeah, so I think that you gotta find a common ground and you gotta test it out. It's mainly about the man. Sometimes the man brings out things in women they thought were repressed. I've heard it constantly with me. Wow, like I'm seeing a different side of me and I love it. People are saying I radiate and I don't know what they're talking about. This has been verbatim. So I think that sometimes it's the man as well, but I think that if the man opens the door, the woman needs to go into that door and start walking around and doing the work. It can't be, I open the door and she's just like, okay. Like, maybe I'll jump in there. It's always going to be open, right? Maybe I'll jump in there and walk around and stuff. No, she got to do the work, because him opening the door is unlocking these stuff because of his integrity, because of his value, because of his consistency, because of his discipline and control. If she is seeing that, then she got to do the work to maintain that part, because that is part of the rules and the boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to tell a woman what type of women I like or type or date. I don't need to tell her. I don't need to have a woman that gonna allow me to lead. I just do that. And the things that I incorporate and how I share my boundaries and stuff, they already pick up on it without even in women words. Sometimes women have asked me, what type of women you like? I change the subject. Well, let's see what type of woman you are. I keep it a buck with them. I watch you. I study you. It's not stalking. Don't worry, I'm not a creep. I'm just that guy that is like any type of business mogul. They invest, right? They watch in their potential investment. They watch the stock market to see if they're gonna jump on it. Oh shit could crash tomorrow. Hasn't moved in 3 years. Why would I invest in that? Okay, this one's giving dividends. It's consistent. Boom. Like it watches. So just like a woman, these guys are investing. They watch. To know boom, I'm gonna give you all these gifts now. And the woman is not even knowing because the guy's retaining like the gifts that he's gonna give. Because even he knows if I put everything on the table, she could just be acting to get all that. So I give her a little bit to see if she really like me. Now I know she really like me. All right, let me get like she gonna be like, oh goddamn, I hit the jackpot. Cause I liked him. But now I saw this other side of him. And this and that, maybe bedroom, that, money, whatever, status, connections, place. Oh wow. I hit the jackpot. Now she's like, damn, you're so perfect. It comes down to the work. Comes down to the work. Like, stop caring about what people are gonna do. Most people are trying to set you up for failure. Think about you. If submission, girl, is what's gonna make you the most happy, find the right partner to be that with. And then keep it on the low. Keep it on the low.
It's
Like,
your secret.
there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna hate on that. I guarantee you. Because they want you to be like them, miserable.
And plus, they don't know about it. People hate what they don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, keep it on the low because even your own girls might try to fuck with him when she find out. Like, let me test them. She told me all these great things. It's happened. It's happened. We could look in history, too. Film, they do this shit. You know, just navigate into that with more spiritual intelligence. I think more people need to be in their divinity. And I think that will help them navigate into any type of endeavors they're getting into. You know, those are my final thoughts.
Nice.
You know, I think that, you know, that will help for both men and women. And on the connection relationship aspect, like if they can do that well, you know, they'll be the happiest. And you could keep that on the low. Like sometimes other people don't like to hear that you're happy. So don't be so like open in that other fashion, because that like I'm not saying to retain that to make people feel comfortable. All I'm saying is the woman is naturally like weaker than the man in many aspects, so she's more prone to being influenced. So I think that the woman that embodies her femininity and is submissive, she's strong. And if she's strong, she's gonna be strong mentally too. So she'll be able to be psychologically immune to the bullshit. So that's why when her feminist friends or whatever colleague are telling her the type of relationship you're in is not healthy for you, don't do that. She's able to block that because she knows you. Like I always tell them, yo, tell them to keep my name out their mouth because they don't know me. And if they feel comfortable disrespecting me and you don't say nothing to defend me, I question you. So I think that the woman should feel comfortable in that regard to be able to stand up for her man and the relationship she leads. You know, and if you don't like that, sever ties. It's the best way, and then find people that are in align with that. All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real, no holds barred Discipline Therapy podcast. Peace.